everyone. Welcome to our second lesson of Unit 8. Today we're going to do long division. Now before you freak out, going, I never knew how to long divide with numbers and now you're going to throw variables at me, it's actually a different way of thinking. So I do want to do a refresher on doing long division with numbers. We got 161 divided by 7. Remember, 161 goes inside, 7 goes on the outside. And 7 goes into 16 twice. 7 times 2 is 14. And then we subtract to get 2, and then we bring down the 1 to get 21. 7 goes into 21 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. And only reason why I'm refreshing is because most of you stick to using a calculator. And you have to be able to show your work with long division, especially once we get to variables, because you can't put those in a calculator. So then our second one, when we take our 5,643 and we divide by 12, 12 goes into 56 4 times, that's 48. We subtract, we get 8 left over, we get 84. 12 goes into 84 7 times, which comes out to 84 exactly. We minus, get 0, we drop down the 3. 12 can't go into 3, so we put in a 0. And so that means normally when you were younger you'd put remainder 3. Really this means that we have 3 out of 12 left over, which would simplify to 470 and 1/4. So now that we see that, let's do a few examples. So when we long divide, our steps look like this.
Step 1, place first polynomial inside the division sign.
So that means we're going to take our 6x cubed minus 19x squared plus 16x plus 4.
Minus 4.
Sorry, minus 4. Thank you for catching that. Minus 4 inside.
Step 2 will be place a second polynomial outside the division sign.
We put our x minus 2 out here.
And the last step, or step 3, is to divide it out.
So this is where people are going to usually say, I hate long division. It's really not too bad. What you need to do is look at it and say, okay, I have this x. Yes, I know there's a minus 2. But what do I have to do to x to turn it into 6x cubed? Well, I have to multiply it by 6x squared. Then what I do is I take that 6x squared and I multiply it by distributing it through. And so then 6x squared times x is 6x cubed. And 6x squared times negative 2 is negative 12x squared. So then we subtract, but here's the catch. You have to put parentheses around that binomial because you're subtracting the whole quantity. So I like to think of it in terms of doing what I'm speaking it as I do it. So I say 6x cubed minus 6x squared gives me 0, which is what I want. And then negative 19x squared minus 12x squared, which minus and negative is plus, so it's negative 19 plus 12. If it helps you, change that to a plus. So that means I have a negative 7x squared. I then drop down that 16x, so I have the plus 16x. So then I say, start again, and I say, okay, what do I have to multiply x by to get negative 7x squared? Well, that's multiplying by negative 7x. I distribute that through, and I get negative 7x squared plus 14x. So I'm subtracting this, so if it helps you, this becomes plus, this becomes minus. So negative 7x squared plus 7x squared cancels. Then we have 16x minus 14x, which is 2x. I then drop down the negative 4, and then I start again. So what do I have to do to x to make 2x? Well, I have to multiply by 2. So then I distribute through. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 2 is minus 4. 2x minus 4 minus 2x minus 4 gives me 0. That means that my solution is 6x squared minus 7x plus 2. Let's move on to another example. So now, once again, we're going to put the first one inside, 4x cubed minus 7x squared minus 11x plus 5. And then put the 4x plus 5 on the outside. So what do I have to do to 4x to make 4x cubed? Well, I have to multiply by x squared. I distribute that through, and I get 4x cubed plus 5x squared. So then, parentheses around it, subtract, and 4x cubed minus 4x cubed cancels. Negative 7x squared minus 5x squared is negative 12x squared. And then I drop down the minus 11x. And then to get negative 12x squared from 4x, I have to multiply by negative 3x. Multiply that through, I get negative 12x squared minus 15x. We subtract that. Negative 12x squared minus negative 12x squared cancels, obviously. Negative 11x minus negative 15x, that means we add it, and we get 4x. Then we drop down the plus 5. And to turn 4x into 4x, obviously we multiply by 1, which we know then gives us 4x plus 5. When we subtract that all, we get 0. That means that my solution is x squared minus 3x plus 1. One more example for you. Now we've got x cubed minus 1 divided by x minus 1. Here is the one catch that we need to make sure of.
If your first polynomial does not have all descending terms, you must add 0x as placeholders.
So if whatever you have that's missing. So in our case here, we've got an x cubed. We don't have an x squared, so we say plus 0x squared. We don't have an x, so we say plus 0x. And then we have minus 1. And the reason why we do that is while technically it's not totally necessary, 1, it gets us prepared for tomorrow, which is our next type of division. And 2, you're going to be a lot less likely to get screwed up and lose your way. So to turn x into x cubed, we multiply by x squared. X times x squared gives us x cubed. X squared times negative 1 is negative x squared. If we subtract that, x cubed minus x cubed obviously cancels. 0x squared minus negative x squared, that means we add and we get x squared. Then we drop down that plus 0x. So to turn x into x squared, we multiply by x. X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. We subtract all the way through. Those cancel. 0x minus negative x is 1x. We drop down to minus 1. To turn x into x, we multiply by 1. 1 times x is x. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. When we subtract that through, we get 0. Now, question always comes out of, will it always come to 0? It will not. I know I didn't give you an example like that, but say this had come out to a remainder of, say, 6. What we would do then is we would take this 6 and, like we did up at the top, we would put that as a remainder of, it would end up being like plus 6 over x minus 1, getting that x minus 1 from here. So we'll talk more about that in class. What I want you to do now is go ahead. We got 3 try problems. The first one is got all your terms. The second one does not. And the third one's a little bit longer. And as always, bring your questions with you.